welcome to another episode of Beyond the 9 to 5 podcast with Dee. I hope you guys have had a great week, and I hope that your weekend is even looking better. For me, this weekend I'm probably going to be doing lots and lots and lots of cleaning. I just moved, so I need to clean my apartment. I need to, like, I've cleaned it, I've unpacked and everything. It's just like I've not arranged it the way that I want to. You get, so I'm going to be doing that, and then going to church as well on Sunday. I serve in church, so like that's a whole different stories. I have to prepare for that as well. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the weekend because I kind of like a slow weekend. I hope you guys have like fun things planned, unlike me. And in usual fashion, we would have our drink of the day. Again, don't ask me what drink this is. I think I mixed Smirnoff Ice and like mango juice and some other juice that I have in my fridge. I just put a little bit of everything in there. But yeah, today we're going to be talking about something very interesting and something that I personally hold dear. We're going to be talking about being the only person of color or black person in this situation, to be more specific, in corporate world. Now, I am black, in case you've not noticed. And it's so interesting that this is something I didn't experience when I was in Nigeria. So if you don't know, I'm an immigrant in Canada. I moved here about 6 years ago for my master's, and since then it's been a journey, I can tell you that. And it's so interesting that all the companies I've worked with so far, I work in HR in case you don't know, all the companies I've worked with so far, I've been the only person of color or the only other person of color in my department, at least. And I've been fortunate enough to work with big companies of like 500, 600 employees. The smallest company I worked for had 500 employees. So you can imagine, out of 500 employees, probably only having five people of color, 5 black people. And the interesting thing is we're all in different departments, and the departments are so scattered out that we don't even get to relate with ourselves. And then there's little old me working in the HR department and telling people all this, recruiting, sitting on interviews. And obviously, like, I still have my Nigerian accent, that is not going to go anywhere. But anyways, there's little old me telling people what to do. And first of all, I'm an immigrant, I'm a lady, like I'm a girl, I'm a woman. I'm a woman and I'm black. So the odds, I don't want to say the odds are stacked, but it's not looking good, y'all. So yeah, I just feel like I can absolutely relate to this, and I want to talk about it. Like, let's talk about it, let's unpack it. First of all, the anxiety you feel when you join a new company as a black person, especially as a black woman, as a young black woman, is crippling. You are wondering how you're going to be accepted. You're wondering if you would have to code switch. And it doesn't just apply to black people, it applies to people of color, especially immigrants. You're wondering if you would have to code switch. You're wondering if you can relate to people's experiences, because let's not lie, the biggest thing about working in corporate is building connections, like having interesting things or common things to talk about with people, like-minded people. Like in the lunchroom, that's the best. I tell people all the time, if you don't take anything away from this podcast, the lunchroom is the best way to build connections and let people know about you. So now imagine little old me from Nigeria, probably was like 2 years fresh, out of being in Canada, and I am in the lunchroom, and I can't remember what exactly we're talking about. I've gone snowboarding before, but I've never gone skiing, and they were all talking about they were snowboarding and skiing trip coming up at the end of the week, and how they're going to do this, how they've rented a cabin up in the mountains, and I was just there like, okay. But it's not that I could not contribute. I could say things, I could make things up, but I didn't want to do that. Like, I didn't want to have to make things up to fit in or to have a conversation. So what I did was I brought something else up, and I'm like, oh, at what age did you start learning how to ski? And I didn't necessarily talk about my experience, but I was able to join the conversation without feeling left out. But now that's the thing, we always have to go the extra mile to feel like we're part of something, to feel like we're part of the organization, to feel like we're part of the team. That's what I find. So walk with me here. I talked about the anxiety, and now I've talked about the feeling left out. Another piece of it is that there's so many eyes on you because you're different. Like, it's like you're calling for the attention. You are the only different person in terms of your physical appearance. Everybody notices you. Like, you cannot go under the radar. First of all, your name is probably different, especially if you're an immigrant. Like myself, my full name is Dolakbo. So, and that's not even the full name. My full name is Ade Dolakbo. So you're already standing out from your name. You're already standing out from your looks. You're already standing out from your appearance. Oh, I'm laughing as I'm talking about this, but it's not funny. But yeah, so you're already standing out that way. So there's absolutely nothing you can do to go under the radar. I'm sorry. But before we go on, I'm going to read a Reddit post in unusual fashion. This says, I'm the only Black person at my job, and it's starting to affect my mental stability. It wasn't always this way. When I got hired, there were at least 3. Now I'm the lone Black dot on a blank sheet of paper. Even a customer, white, pointed it out once. Management heard it and just walked away. So maybe it's time to start looking for a more diverse workplace, or just go remote. Sorry, just wanted to vent a little bit. I'll show myself out. Now, somebody said, oh, I can relate to this so much. I'm at most times the only Black person and the only female at my job, and I have to spend 24 to 96 hours with all white males. It's mentally taxing because there's always things being said that they think will trigger me. I let most of it go off my back, and like my dad always tells me, don't let them make money out my pocket. My dad's retired in the same field I'm in, so that's probably the only reason why I can get through, because of his guidance. I was literally blood, sweat, and tears for where I am now, so I don't feel like I can just leave. But oh Lord knows what you go through. We'll read one more. So there's another reply. I've experienced this pretty much my entire career. It used to not bother me as much being the only Black person, but I've reached a breaking point. I think living in a whoever knows about George Floyd, post-George Floyd America has made me extra sensitive to fake inclusivity and subtle racism, the microaggression. For example, my company acts like they're progressive but don't have any people of color on the senior leadership team. Oh, tell me about it. And they promote the few POC they have, and they rarely promote the few POC they have. Anyways, I'm looking to transition to a full-time permanent role so I don't have to subject myself to those types of environments in person. The few days I'm able to work remotely, I feel significantly better. Being in that environment really takes a toll. Wishing you the best, and just know that you're not alone. Now, I'll tell you what to do. I don't know what your experience is, and I can't speak to your experience, but I can tell you what has helped me. So these are the things that has helped me. First, not taking things personally. I felt like that needed a sip of my drink. not taking things personally. Practice the art of detachment. Know that you're only here to do your job for a certain number of hours, and you're gonna go home and you're gonna go back to your actual life. It's when you start getting emotionally invested in these jobs, and when you attach the job to a sense of self, that if things are not going well at work, or if somebody makes comments or things like that, that's when it's going to affect you. Now, while I'm saying that, my tip number 2 is calling out microaggressions. People are going to poke you. Like, they just can't help it. But this is where you come in. Call it out as it happens. It might be subtle. And the thing about subtle microaggressions is that other people might not notice that that is happening to you. But I tell you, you notice it. The person that called out being microaggressive knows that they're being microaggressive. Call it out right there and then, and put an end to it. Let the person know, no, I don't like it. Another good thing is document every single thing, all the subtle racisms that you're getting documented so you can bring it to HR. And also, I feel like as Black people, we always have to go the extra mile to show ourselves. Now, that's not ideal, and I'm with you on that. But if you can be, again, try to find a balance. Don't overkill. But if you can be as hardworking as you can, make sure that you're not making mistakes in your jobs so they can't call you out for anything. I feel like that's a good tip. But at the same time, don't overkill yourself. Like, don't try to, like, if you start getting too hardworking, they'll start piling more jobs on you as a Black person. Now, has this been my experience? I can't speak to that, but I feel like a lot of people can relate. It's like, if you start getting more hardworking and they can see, first of all, 2 things are going to set in. They're probably going to be envious and be like, who is she or who is he, and why does he think it's better than all of us here? There's that piece. Or they'll be like, oh, give it to D can do it, D can do it, let D do it. And then that starts piling up. Do your job enough, do it well enough, and brag about the things that you do. Keep a win sheet. Now, that is very, very important. As Black people, as people of color, there are going to be times when people will want to take credit for your work, and I don't even want to hear it. There's no argument on that. Like, we've seen it again and again and again, even outside of the corporate world. Keep a win sheet. Document everything that you've done that has made a significant impact, even the ones that have not made a significant impact. Document everything that you've done in your job and keep that. Keep a win sheet. Document everything. And also, speak for the things that you do. It's not just about keeping a win sheet or having that written down. Be very vocal about what you do within your team. Don't let somebody else speak for your work. Be very, very vocal about it. Speak loudly about your impact. Speak loudly about your work every day. Like, what I used to do is, if I've done something and I feel like, oh, what I just did was impactful, I walk up to my manager's office and I'm like, I just did this yesterday. Or I copy them in emails that I'm sending out to let them know and to give them that heads up that, hey, I did this. Again, it has to be subtle. Like, don't be braggy about it or be proud, but at the same time, it's very, 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 very important. And also try to network and make friends. It can feel very lonely in the corporate world when you're the only Black person, when you're the only person of color. It can absolutely feel lonely, but you need to connect. You need to build a community. You need to make a connection, because they're gonna test you. You are going to, and I'm not trying to put fear in you, but again, if you're lucky and you've worked for companies that you've have been diverse enough that you've not felt left out, I'm happy for you and I wish you all the best, and I'm low-key hating. But now, this is for people that are probably like the only drop in the ocean. try to build a community, because that is what's going to keep you going on your hard days. Talk to people, don't keep it in, because there's going to be days that's going to be hard. And lastly, also, you're gonna have to code switch. Unfortunately, yeah, I know nobody wants to do it, and it's not like I'm not proud of my Nigerian self, I'm not proud of myself, but it's just you have to speak corporate language. Like, what part of what part of my language as circle back or touch base? Like, those are corporate language. That's what I mean by code switching. You have to code switch into corporate language. Again, document everything. Don't take things personally. Try to practice the art of detachment, but at the same time, call out microaggressions, and please call out racism. If you feel like you're being targeted or bullied for your color, please call it out and report to your supervisor right away. Report to HR right away. Sometimes we don't want to call those things out because we don't want to stand out, or we don't want to be the reason why somebody loses their job. But at the end of the day, you have to do what you have to do to keep yourself sane. You have to do what you have to do to stand your ground. So ultimately, these are the tips that I have, and I have been working in Canadian corporate for 3 years now. I'm going on 4 years, and I can tell you sorry, I just took a sip of my drink. I can tell you that, well, I don't know if the higher you go, the better it gets, but you definitely be able to build some sort of resistance, and like your body builds, like, is more immune, an immunity to the BS that happens. Yeah, and I know how difficult it is when you've seen leadership and there's nobody that looks like you there, but hey, who knows what might happen? You might be the person that breaks that chain and gets to that point and makes that difference, right? But again, call out tokenism. You don't want to, you're not the token person of color, you're not the token black person. You're there because you deserve it. You're there because you can do your job. So don't make anybody make you feel any less. But yeah, thank you for coming to today's episode and listening, and I hope that the world gets better, where we all get to a point where, regardless of your color, like, everybody is taken as seriously as the next person, and you can feel comfortable walking into any place, any corporate room, and not feel like your difference is being called out. I'm hoping to sort of build a community. I know there are organizations out there where people can connect, black people in the corporate world, and there are things actually happening where I currently am in Vancouver, so that's good. But in the long run, I'm also hoping to build a community where we can come together, share our experiences, dine and connect. But till then, we have this platform, so reach out if you want to vent, if you want to talk. And yeah, we've come to the end of today's episode. Again, thank you so much for listening. I love you guys so much, and I pray that this week is a great week for you. I pray that things happen for you for your own good this week, and I'll see you guys on the next episode. Bye.